So you're having a hard time speaking naturally, whether it's in public or on camera. And you really want to change that because anytime you have a presentation, you know it's not the real you. So I want to help you to change that. What's up, it's Gene, and I'm here to help you to communicate with confidence and authority through storytelling. And today's principle that we're going to discuss is speaking naturally through story is the key to great communication. When I first started my speaking journey back in 2012, I joined the speech club and I was very excited about it because I finally got in there and faced my fear of public speaking. And after being there about 7 months, I decided to invite one of my good friends to hear me give a speech, and he came and he watched me present. And as we was riding back in the car, he looked at me and he said, "Gene, what voice was that you speaking in? I've been knowing you for years and I've never heard that voice." And I said with confidence, "That is my speaking voice." And I remember when I said it, I felt a little awkward because I knew deep down inside what he was saying was true. But it did not dawn on me till years later. See, I had another guy that was a part of, hiring speakers in corporate America. He said to me, he was in that speech club, he said, "Gene, you are a good conversationalist when you just speaking at your natural voice. But then you start going into this voice where you sound like you singing a lullaby when you're speaking. And that is not you." But the real dagger was when I hired my first speech coach. One day we was looking at one of my speeches online because I had recorded it and we was watching. He said, "Gene, who the hell is that on that stage?" I said, "That's me." He said, "That is not you. Who is that on that stage? You're not speaking as you. Stop trying to be a speaker and be a storyteller. You tell stories." And he was the one that finally got me to break this presentation mode where I was just up in front of these speech clubs being somebody that I wasn't. But to give you context, I am going to let you see a small portion of one of those speeches I was giving in that club. And I want you to tell me, do you see what my friend was talking about?
A little boy was at home with his mother, running around the house and causing ruckus, agitated. His mother said, "Son, sit down." He refused, appalled. She said, "Son, sit down." He complied and started laughing. His mother said, "Son, why are you laughing?" The little boy said, "Mama, I'm laughing because even though you told me to sit down on the outside, I'm still standing on the inside."
Now I know that speech was terrible. It's obvious that's not me on that stage. I'm trying to tell a story that I read in like a magazine or something. I don't know where I got that story from. About the little boy that was bullied and his mom was told him to sit down or something. I can't remember where I got the story from. But can you see that I'm up there performing? I'm speaking in a voice that's not my own. Now, you probably never met me before in person, but you can tell by what you just saw on that camera in that speech in front of that club and the way I talk now, that is not me. Now, let's keep it real. I'm an urban guy. I come from the streets, so I have a little bit of a street dialect. I do not speak in these lullabies. I was talking to my mother and I don't talk like that. And that was not the real me. But what that first speech coach allowed me to realize is that speaking naturally through story is the key to great communication. So what I started doing is start using my own personal stories, something I was afraid to do because I fear vulnerability. But by starting using my stories, it allowed me to become a great communicator, and it can do the same for you. So why do story help you to become a great communicator? One, it allows you to speak from personal experience. Now let's talk about this thing between speaking and having a conversation. Now, I know I say speaker, right? And that's something that you can relate to that we're all familiar with. But the truth is you want to be a great conversationalist. So when you're up there, focused on being a speaker or trying to be perfect or being professional, you're not having a conversation. But when you just have a regular conversation, tell a story from your personal experience, it allows you to connect with people because you're just having a conversation. For example, let's say somebody just cut you off on the road, right? And you're at home with your family members and you're talking to them about it. How would you have that conversation? Would you give a speech? Well, I was driving down the street and all of a sudden this car came out of nowhere. It was a dark night and blue sky and some blue car. You wouldn't talk like that. What you would say is, listen, man, I was driving here tonight and this fool cut me off. You know what I'm saying? And I was furious. And I started to drive towards him and started honking my horn. That is having a conversation. That is when you are showing your true self naturally through a actual experience that you just actually had. So that is the first reason that you want to tell a story, because it allows you to speak naturally and it be a good conversation or have great communication. 2, you're not struggling to memorize. As I said in a previous video, that when you're in your head, you're emotionally dead. And where that comes from is when you're trying to memorize. See, when you talk about a personal experience, it allows you to have a conversation. Now, when you saw me in that video, the reason I sound the way I was is because I was trying to memorize that story. So by trying to memorize, I was speaking in this voice. This boy was talking to his mother, and I was actually trying to memorize the story I read in this article. And what happened was it created this emotional barrier. So one thing about telling stories from your personal life, it allows you to have a conversation where you're not trying to memorize, but you just reliving the experience by talking about what actually happened. And the third thing is that you're able to speak from internalization instead of memorization. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. What I mean by internalization is when you have an experience that's already internalized. You already lived through this experience. So you just get up and have a conversation from that internalized place. It's something that happened from you, so you're speaking from within. Now, when you are speaking from memorization, you are speaking from externalization. You're speaking from an experience that you read about, somebody else's experience. So therefore, you find yourself trying to memorize like I did in that video. But when you use story from your personal life, it allows you to talk from that internalization point of view. You're talking from within. And when people see that you're talking from within, it allows them to connect with you. So if you're having a hard time speaking naturally, you're having a hard time being yourself on stage, you're having a hard time speaking when it's the opportunity to present itself, I want you to remember that speaking naturally through story is the key to great communication. If you like this video, I want to ask you to like and share this video. Also, subscribe to my channel, inGENEious Storytelling, because I'll be giving more storytelling and communication content that will help you to be able to communicate with confidence and authority. I want to thank you for watching this video, and also leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this video. And if you have any other ideas that you would like me to speak on, please leave that in the comment section as well.